My boyfriend called me ugly in front of his friends and dumped me at a restaurant, leaving me to pay for the dinner. As he walked away, he loudly said, "A girl like you should be grateful I even dated you." I smiled and calmly waited. This morning, my phone blew up with 13 missed calls. You guys, I'm still processing what happened last weekend. I keep replaying it in my head and wondering if I somehow imagined the whole thing. Но нет. Мой максимальный лимит по кредитке и пятна от мороженого на диване подтверждают, что все было очень даже реально. For context, I had been with Ryan for 2 years. 2 years, not some casual fling or whatever. We had the whole routine down. Netflix marathons on Sundays, awkward holiday dinners with both families, even that weird couples yoga class he insisted on trying, which we both sucked at, TBH. Things weren't perfect between us, are they ever? But I thought we were solid. We had even talked about maybe moving in together this summer. He had these little annoying habits, leaving his socks literally everywhere, texting during movies, and making these helpful comments about my appearance. Stuff like, "That shirt makes your arms look bigger," or, "Have you thought about trying a different hairstyle?" I always brushed it off as him being honest. God, past me was such a dork. So last Friday, Ryan texted me about dinner with some work friends. He's never really included me in his work life before, always saying it wasn't professional or whatever, so I was actually excited. I even went shopping for a new outfit, RIP my budget, and spent forever getting ready. Full YouTube makeup tutorial. Тот самый выпрямитель для особых случаев. Всё как надо. I get to this super expensive restaurant downtown, the kind with tiny portions, and no prices on the menu. Red flag number 1. Ryan's already there with 2 guys he works with, Leonard and Pablo. The moment I walk up, there's this weird vibe. Ryan barely acknowledges me, just a half stand from his chair and a quick, "You're late." I was literally 2 minutes late because parking was impossible. I sit down, and he looks at my outfit and goes, "Oh, you wore that." Not quietly either. His friends exchange a look, and I immediately feel my face getting hot. For the record, I was wearing a dark blue dress that I thought looked nice. Nothing crazy or inappropriate. I try to laugh it off like, is there a dress code I missed? But he just shrugs and says they already ordered appetizers. Cool. The next hour is basically Ryan talking about work stuff I don't understand, while his friends nod along. Whenever I try to join the conversation, Ryan either talks over me or explains why I'm wrong about whatever I just said. At one point, I mentioned something about a customer at my store, and Ryan interrupts with, "She doesn't really get how things work in the real business world." И делает презрительный жест, как будто ритейл не настоящая работа. I've been a manager for 3 years. I'm sitting there, getting more uncomfortable, wondering if Ryan's always been this condescending and I just never noticed. Или он просто выпендривается перед друзьями. Either way, not a great look. Then, Leonard asks how we met, and I start telling the story about how his coworker Vanessa, my best friend, introduced us. Ryan cuts me off mid-sentence and says, "Yeah, Vanessa felt bad for her. I was doing a favor, really." И смеется. You guys, my stomach literally dropped. That's not even close to how it happened. Vanessa had actually warned me about Ryan's ego before setting us up, but said he was a good guy underneath it all. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. I excuse myself to the bathroom, mostly so I don't cry in front of them. In the stall, I'm texting Vanessa like, "WTF is happening," when I get a notification that Ryan just tagged himself at this restaurant on Instagram with Boys Night Out. Like I'm not even there. Vanessa calls me immediately, but I send her to voicemail because I don't want the guys to hear me crying. I splash some water on my face, fix my makeup, and give myself a sad little pep talk in the mirror about getting through dinner with dignity. When I get back to the table, they're all laughing about something, but stop abruptly when I sit down. Awesome. The waiter brings our main courses, and Ryan keeps making these jokes about my food choice. I ordered pasta, one of the less expensive options, because I was already worried about the bill. And he keeps saying stuff like, "Carb loading for a marathon?" And, "That's a bold choice for someone with your body type." Each comment feels like a paper cut, and they're adding up fast. I'm barely eating, just pushing food around my plate and counting the minutes until I can leave. Then Pablo asks Ryan about some presentation, and Ryan launches into this whole story about how his boss loved his ideas, and he's basically running the whole project now. Something clicks in my brain. The week before, Ryan had been stressing about this same presentation, saying his portion was only 5 minutes, and he was nervous. Now suddenly he's the star? It's like he's living in an alternate universe where he's the main character. Then the bill comes. The waiter sets it on the table, and Ryan picks it up, looks at it for a second, then slides it over to me. I think he's just showing me the total, but then he says, and I will never forget this, "You know what? I don't think this is working." I stare at him, waiting for the punchline. There isn't one. I've been trying to make this work, But I'm just not attracted to you anymore. I think we should break up. In the middle of a restaurant, in front of his friends, after 2 years together. Who does that? I'm completely blindsided. Are you serious right now? This is how you want to do this? He stands up, grabs his jacket, and says, and I still get a knot in my stomach thinking about it. A girl like you should be grateful I even dated you this long. You're not exactly a prize. Then he and his friends just left. They walked out together, laughing, leaving me sitting there with a $3.47 bill for all their stupid Wagyu appetizers and fancy cocktails. The waiter comes over with this look of pity that makes everything 1,000 times worse. I pay the bill with my credit card, which I'm still paying off from Christmas, yay, and somehow make it to my car without completely falling apart. I call Vanessa from the parking lot, sobbing so hard she can't understand me at first. She comes straight to my apartment with a pint of Ben Jerry's and a bottle of wine, the real MVP. Between ugly crying and stress-eating cookie dough, I tell her everything. She's livid. I have to talk her out of driving to Ryan's place and causing a scene. That's when it gets weird. She keeps asking questions about what Ryan said about work, the project he mentioned, his role in the company. Finally, she's like, Sabrina, I don't know how to tell you this, but Ryan isn't who he says he is at work. Turns out, Ryan isn't some hotshot marketing guy about to get promoted. He's an assistant who makes coffee runs and schedules meetings. All those business trips. Complete fabrications. The big presentation? He was just doing the slides for the actual team. The fancy title on his LinkedIn. Total fiction. I feel like such an idiot. For 2 years, this guy had been lying about basically everything, and I never questioned it. What else had he been lying about? That night, after Vanessa leaves, I go into full detective mode. I scroll back through our text history, our photos, everything. So many inconsistencies I'd missed. Comments about money that didn't add up. Times he had to work late. But his location showed him across town. I can't sleep. I keep replaying that moment in the restaurant. How small he made me feel. How humiliated I was. Around 3 a.m., I get a text from a number I don't recognize. Hey, it's Cody from Ryan's office. Vanessa gave me your number. There's some stuff you should know. That's when things got really interesting. First, thank you so much for the supportive comments on my last post. I honestly cried reading some of them, in a good way. A lot of you asked for an update, so here's what happened next in this absolutely wild situation. After Cody, Ryan's coworker, told me my boyfriend had basically been pretending to be someone else at work, I spent a few days in that awful post-breakup fog. Ugly crying into ice cream, then rage-scrolling old photos, and wondering if any of it had been real. My apartment looked like a disaster zone, dishes piled up, laundry everywhere, about 7 empty DoorDash bags, because cooking felt impossible. The worst part was catching myself about to text Ryan something funny, then remembering and feeling dumped all over again. My brain kept looping. Did that really happen? And how did I miss this? I stayed off social for a bit, but by Wednesday, I caved and checked Instagram. Of course, there he was. A gym selfie captioned, "Level up, know your worth." The audacity. I nearly threw my phone. That evening, Vanessa came with takeout and found me burrito wrapped in my comforter. She's been amazing feeding me real food, listening to the same rants on repeat, never once saying I told you so, even though she had her doubts from the start. While we ate, Vanessa showed me her texts with Cody. He had more tea. At work, Ryan was telling people he dumped me because I was clingy and always about marriage. Excuse me? I wasn't the one with a Pinterest board called Future Home Ideas. Yes, he had one. For work research, sure. Then the bombshell. Ryan wasn't just lying about his title. He was on probation for taking credit for others' work and might be fired. Those late nights at the office were frantic damage control. The business trips? Fiction. I was still processing when Tina, Ryan's mom, called. I nearly let it go to voicemail, but answered. She's always been kind, remembers my birthday, actually asks about my life. She sounded concerned and asked if we were okay. Apparently, Ryan told his family we'd had a little fight, but everything was fine. A little fight? The man publicly humiliated me, dumped me in front of his friends, and stuck me with a huge bill. I kept it vague, said we needed space, because I didn't want to put her in the middle. Then she mentioned Ryan's birthday dinner on Saturday and how the whole family was excited to see me. I nearly choked. Ryan told them we were still together and that we had big news. After I hung up, I just stared at the wall while Vanessa looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Delusional or pathological liar? Honestly, I wasn't sure. That's when we made a plan. I wouldn't ghost his family. They'd always been kind and deserved the truth. But I also wouldn't cause a scene. I'd go to the dinner and let the truth come out naturally. The next day, I had coffee with Cody. Slightly awkward. We only knew each other through Ryan, but he turned out to be great. He confirmed everything and added details. Ryan's team was really just him and 2 interns. The big presentation he bragged about, he was just running the slides while the boss spoke. Cody was genuinely upset for me and said Ryan's stories about me never quite added up. Apparently, Ryan complained that I was high maintenance, when in reality, I'd been paying for most dates at the end because he said he was between paychecks. Translation, terrible with money. Mid-conversation, Cody got a text from their boss asking him to come in Saturday evening for an emergency project. He was bummed had plans. And then it hit me. What if he needed to drop something off to Ryan during the birthday dinner? Perfect timing. As we worked out the details, Ryan texted me for the first time since the restaurant fiasco. We need to talk about what happened. I might have overreacted. Might have. Cody nearly spit his coffee. Overreacting is getting annoyed at someone being 5 minutes late, not publicly humiliating your girlfriend and leaving her with a $300+ bill. I didn't reply. Let him stew. 2 days of prep. I wasn't walking in unprepared. I combed through text dates he claimed to be at a conference that didn't exist. Co-worker stories Cody said were fabricated. Event photos he'd actually pulled from the company website. Friday, Vanessa helped pick an outfit. Part of me wanted to show up jaw-dropping out of spite. But we chose a simple black dress, yes, the one he once called average, which I now realize was his way of dimming compliments I got in it. I barely slept. What if this backfired? What if his family took his side? What if I froze? By Saturday, I'd chewed my nails to nothing and run through 17 scenarios. Around noon, Ryan texted again. Can't wait to see you tonight. Wear something nice. My parents are excited. I ignored it. I spent the afternoon getting ready equal parts dread and resolve. Vanessa did my hair and pep-talked me when my courage wobbled. At 5:30, I drove over, pulled to the curb once because my hands were shaking, did those breathing exercises from the meditation app I never use. What am I doing? Should I just block him and move on? Then I pictured him spinning a new victim story at that table, and my spine stiffened. At 6:15, I walked into his parents' house fashionably late, which I knew he hated. The place was full and smelled like Tina's famous pot roast. It stung. I really did like his family. I rounded the corner, Ryan, drink in hand, mid-laugh. Then he froze. Priceless. Panic flickered. Then the fake smile. A stiff hug. A whisper. You actually came. We need to talk privately. I said loud enough for everyone. I wouldn't miss your birthday, especially after you told everyone we had big news. The color drained from his face. Tina clapped. Is it what I think? His sister arched a knowing brow. His dad joked about grandkids. Ryan pinched my elbow to steer me away, but his mom announced dinner. We sat. My phone buzzed. Cody! On my way. 15 minutes. Ryan hissed. Why are you here? I thought after the restaurant. I smiled sweetly, but loud. Oh, I wouldn't miss the chance to tell your family how that dinner went. I'm sure they'll love that story. The panic in his eyes was worth every nerve. Game on. We're at the table. Parents Tina and Ralph, sister Kayla, grandma, 2 cousins. The spread, legendary pot roast, buttery mash, and a showpiece salad no one will eat. The first 20 minutes are straight awkward. Ryan tries to control the conversation, shooting me warning glances. I just smile and pass the rolls, watching his left eye twitch whenever I speak. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Very. Tina keeps things afloat, asks about my family and work. Then, we're all so proud of Ryan's big promotion. I nearly choke. I glance at Ryan. His face goes beet red. He launches into how his team is crushing targets, and his boss is grooming him for senior management. I nod and let him dig. Quiet Ralph suddenly asks about the Johnson account, some huge deal Ryan told him he's leading. Ryan's answer is horoscope-level vague. Strategic pivots, and leveraging core competencies. Meaning, nothing. Kayla catches my eye. She's the family skeptic, the type to Google facts mid-argument. Her eyebrow says, is he for real? Tina circles back to the big news. Is it about the next step? Ryan almost drops his fork and mumbles that, it's not the right time. Grandma, queen of zero filter. So are you 2 moving in? Ryan said you're apartment hunting. News to me. The furthest we got was me suggesting we combine Netflix to save money. Ryan tries to pivot back to himself. My boss gave me a company card. I can't resist. What expenses are you authorized to approve? He stammers something about client dinners. I go casual. Speaking of dinners, last week's restaurant was great. What was it called again, honey? The one where we met Leonard and Pablo? He turns pale faster than my phone battery on TikTok. Doorbell. Perfect timing. Tina answers, oh, Cody, what a surprise. Ryan looks ready to faint. Cody walks in, button up in a folder, apologizes for interrupting the birthday, but says Ryan needs to sign urgent documents for Monday. Tina, perfect host, invites him to stay for cake. Ryan tries to push him back out, but Ralph insists they can handle work right here. We're all family. Cody takes the empty chair beside me. Yes, I saved it. Ryan's gripping his fork like it might bend. Ralph asks Cody how the big presentation went, the one Ryan supposedly led. Cody hesitates a beat, meets my eyes, decides. It went well. But their boss presented. Ryan and the team supported. Ralph frowns. That's not how Ryan described it. Because I'm messy-ass about the promotion. Cody squirms. There's a restructuring. Ryan laughs fakely and tries to change the subject, but Kayla cuts in. What's Ryan's current title? Silence, the public bathroom drop kind. Cody looks at Ryan, pleading, then at me. I give the tiniest nod. He clears his throat. Administrative assistant in marketing. Dead quiet. Ralph puts his fork down. Grandma makes a tiny, Kayla mutters, I knew it. Ryan scrambles. Cody's confused. I wear many hats. It's complicated. But the dam's broken. The family asks specifics he can't wriggle out of. When were you promoted? He wasn't. Why did you say you had a team? He doesn't. Corner office? Also fiction. With every question, another stitch pops. He keeps glaring at me like this is my fault, which only steals me. Tina tries to soften things. Let's have cake and talk about happier stuff. While she's in the kitchen, Kayla turns to me about the restaurant. My moment. I take a breath and tell them everything, how he invited me to meet his friends, belittled me all night, dumped me in public, walked out, and left me with a $347 bill I could barely afford. Ryan tries to interrupt, but his dad shuts him down with a look I've never seen before. Pure disappointment. Ryan's defense. I'm exaggerating. I embarrassed him by not fitting in. Leaving me the bill was teaching financial responsibility. Grandma actually snorts at that one. Cody finally speaks, confirms my story, adds he heard Ryan brag about putting me in my place, and even shows texts from Pablo receipts. Tina returns with cake as Ryan is mid-victim monologue. She sets it down and asks what she missed. No one speaks. Then, Ralph quietly says, the family needs a talk about honesty. Ryan explodes full-on tantrum, accuses me of turning his family against him, calls Cody a traitor, says everyone's jealous of his success. What success? He knocks over his water, points at me. A girl like you should be grateful I even bothered with you. His mom gasps. Grandma mutters old-timey swear. Kayla just shakes her head like she's not surprised. Somehow I'm calm. The only thing I'm grateful for is finally seeing who you really are. Ryan storms out, slamming the door so hard one of Tina's plates falls and cracks. Aftermath. Weirdly peaceful. Tina apologizes 50 times. Ralph looks tired and sad. Kayla mops up the spill. Cody apologizes for the awkwardness, but says he couldn't sit by while Ryan lied. The strangest part? Instead of asking me to leave, they insist I stay for cake. So there we are, ex, co-worker, and family eating birthday cake without the birthday boy. In any other context, peak awkward. Somehow. It isn't. In the kitchen, Tina keeps apologizing. She's heartbroken, not just about what he did to me, but about who her son has become. I feel bad for her. No parent wants this realization. She asks if there were signs. I admit there were red flags I ignored because I wanted to believe the best. At the door, Ralph thanks me for my honesty and apologizes for his son. He looks defeated, like he's searching where they went wrong. I tell him this isn't their fault. Ryan's an adult who made his choices. Cody walks me to my car. On the way, he mentions months of issues at work stealing credit, lying about contributions, even faking client emails. He's on his final warning. Suddenly, Ryan's obsession with image makes twisted sense. For a second, I almost feel sorry for him. Almost. Back home, 3 missed calls from Vanessa. I'm about to call her when a text from Ryan pops up. You've ruined everything. This isn't over. I don't respond. I block his number and make tea. Maybe I should be scared, but I'm just tired. And a little proud I didn't stay silent. I really thought it was over. It wasn't. In the morning, 13 missed calls. His mom, sister, Cody, unknown numbers. Something happened overnight, and the frantic voicemails made it clear. Ryan had completely lost it. Here's what those 13 missed calls were about. Sunday morning after the birthday blow-up, my phone was on fire. I called Tina back. She sounded exhausted. After storming out, Ryan went on a bender. Around 2 a.m., he showed up at an ex's place, news to me, drunk and ranting that I'd ruined his life. The ex, understandably freaked, called Kayla, who picked him up. Meanwhile, he'd been blasting unhinged messages to everyone we know threatening Cody's job. LOL, when you're about to be fired yourself. posting a Facebook screed about being surrounded by snakes. Worst, he sent my address to Pablo in a private message saying he'd make me pay. To Pablo's credit, he immediately called Tina and forwarded the screenshots. That's why she was desperate to reach me. I'm in ratty pajamas, hair in yesterday's messy bun, trying to process while Tina apologizes for her son for the millionth time. I should have been scared, but I just felt drained like a phone stuck at 1 forever. Tina insisted on coming over to make sure I was okay. Sweet and a great motivator for emergency cleaning. She arrived with Kayla and a box of pastries. We sat at my wobbly kitchen table. Kayla filled me in. This wasn't new. In college, he lied about making the baseball team when he'd been cut. Claimed he was talking to a popular girl who didn't know his name. Pattern. Inventing a more successful, more popular version of himself. My phone buzzed nonstop, friends reacting to his meltdown. Vanessa wanted to come with her kickboxing boyfriend, just in case. Then the doorbell. We froze. Kayla peeked. Cody. Ryan had been blowing up his phone too, and Cody wanted to warn me in person, since Ryan said he might visit. So there we were, me, his mom, his sister, his coworker, on a Sunday morning, trying to figure out what to do with a grown man throwing a tantrum because he got caught lying. If it weren't so stressful, it'd be comedy. Cody added their boss had already seen screenshots of Ryan's posts. Monday would be interesting. Kayla worried he might do something stupid if he got fired. Doorbell again. The building manager. Ryan had been downstairs making a scene, demanding to be let up. The manager refused, hero, and threatened to call police. Ryan stormed off, but apparently lingered in the parking lot, shouting that I was a liar loud enough for the first floor to hear. Tina looked crushed. Kayla got practical. Document everything. A notification. Ryan tagged me in his story. Against everyone's advice, I looked. It was a 2-year-old photo of me, sleeping on his couch, mouth open, captioned, Miss Perfect who ruined my birthday isn't so perfect. A girl like you should be grateful. If that was his revenge, it was weak. I actually laughed. If that's the worst he's got, I'll be fine. Then pounding on my door. Ryan's voice slightly slurred. I know you're in there, open up. Cody stood to confront him, but I was already calling building security. Perks of a pressure complex. He pounded, then started kicking. Neighbors peeked out. Security arrived. Leave, or we call the police. Some back and forth, then silence. Guard knocked gently. Ryan left the building, but was still in the lot. Tina insisted on going down to handle her son herself. Honestly, I was glad to let her. Ralph came to pick them both up. The whole thing was just sad. After they left, Cody and I sat in stunned silence. He finally asked if I had alcohol, which felt right. We split a bottle of special occasion wine. This counted. Later, Vanessa came and stayed the night, just in case. Thankfully, Ryan didn't return. We ordered pizza, watched bad reality TV, and tried to digest the soap opera my life had become. The next weeks were an adjustment. Ryan got fired after 3 no-shows and some inappropriate emails. He moved back in with his parents for a bit, Kayla told me. We grab coffee sometimes. She's great. He tried contacting me a few more times, voicemails swinging from rage to tears to weird nostalgia. I saved them, didn't respond. He made a few fake Instagram accounts, so obviously him. You're making a big mistake. That I blocked them on sight. The weirdest moment was running into him at Target a month later. I was comparing shower curtains. He appeared with a pack of socks, looking sleep-deprived. We made eye contact. He turned around and walked away, abandoning his basket in the aisle. That was 3 months ago. According to Tina, she still sends holiday cards sweet but awkward. Ryan moved to his uncle's in another state. His socials are suspiciously quiet. Kayla thinks his parents cut him off until he gets therapy. As for me, I'm good. My apartment finally feels like mine again. Rearranged furniture, replaced anything that reminded me of him. The strangest outcome is an unexpected friendship with Cody. We're not dating, Vanessa keeps trying, but we grab lunch sometimes and DM dumb TikToks. It's nice having someone who witnessed the saga and understands why my trust issues are now Texas-sized. Looking back, I'm not just angry anymore. I'm oddly grateful not for dating Ryan, never that, but for learning who he really was before things went further. Imagine if we'd moved in together. Shudder.